Hello and welcome to Loppy Loves Iceland. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren and on this channel I talk about my life as an immigrant living in Iceland. Today I am going to be sharing an Icelandic ghost story with you, and I will be doing one of these a week, every week until Halloween. And today's story is about a skeleton in Skálholt, and Skálholt is a church and a parish here in South Iceland. I've been there a few times. I don't have any footage of it to share with you, unfortunately, but I really liked this story when I came across it online. All of the stories I'm sharing are on snerpa.is, and they're all Icelandic folk tales, ghost stories. So let's begin. So a wealthy farmer passed away in Skálholt parish. As was the custom, he was to be buried in the church. But when they went to dig his grave, the grave diggers found that there was already a skeleton where he was going to be laid to rest. They didn't know who it was, but it appeared to be a woman. They didn't quite know what to do with the skeleton, so they just laid it under a bench and left it there for the rest of the day, and the funeral took place. And when they left, the skeleton was still there in the church, just under a bench. Now, later that evening, a group of schoolboys began talking about the skeleton, and they dared the servant girls to go and bring the skeleton to them. And they did offer money as a reward for bringing the skeleton to them. Now, most of the girls refused this offer. They did not want to be carrying a skeleton and bringing it to the school. However, one brave servant girl agreed to this challenge. So later that night, the girl walked out alone to the church, and she entered the church via the underground passage, which, as a side note, I have been through that passage. You can go, when you visit Skálholt, you can go through the underground passage when it's open. So she entered the church, she picked up the skeleton, and she threw it across her back and began making her way back towards the school. But in the narrow passage, she suddenly heard a voice from the bones on her shoulders. It said, "You're hurting me." But the girl was not one to be frightened, so she just simply replied, "Then lift yourself up better on my back." The girl carried the skeleton all the way back to the boys, who started laughing at her and told her to return it to the church immediately, as they didn't actually want the skeleton. But when she returned to the church to lay the bones down, the skeleton spoke once again to her. It said, "Well done, but it would be better if you placed me under that corner bench over there. That's where the bishop's wife rests. We were not at peace when I died, and because of that, I haven't been able to rot properly. Please let me try and reconcile with her." So the girl did as she was asked, and soon after she laid the bones in that corner, she heard whispering, and it appeared to be two voices, but both voices were too soft to really make out what was being said. And then there was silence. And then the skeleton spoke once more to the girl, and she said, "Now it is finished. We are reconciled, and I owe you thanks." And with that, the bones collapsed into dust. The girl didn't tell anyone what happened, but the next night she dreamt of the skeleton. It told her there was some hidden treasure buried by the churchyard wall. It was a small chest of money as thanks for her help. She went the next day, quietly, didn't tell anyone of course, and found the treasure. And then that night she had another dream, but this time it was the bishop's wife. And she said that there was actually some more treasure on the northern side of the churchyard. So the girl went and found that treasure too. And after that, the girl went to the schoolboys who had promised to pay her for bringing the skeleton and went to ask for the money. But instead they all just mocked her and refused. There was only one boy called Vigfús who supported her, and he told the other boys that he was going to tell the bishop and the schoolmaster if they didn't keep up their end of the bargain. They refused to pay, so that's exactly what he did. The bishop and the schoolmaster both scolded the boys and forced them to pay what they owed. Not long after, the servant girl married a poor man, and with all of the money that she had gained, they bought a farm. And all because she was brave enough to carry a skeleton on her back through the narrow passages of Skálholt at night time. And that's the story of the skeleton in Skálholt. It's quite creepy, isn't it? But it's also a story about courage, justice, and how kindness, even to the dead, can sometimes bring great rewards. If you like this story and you'd like to hear more, I would recommend subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications, as I'm going to be doing more of these throughout October. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!